What if the door just swung open for Detroit to punch the champs in the mouth and send a message the whole league can't ignore? What if the loudest offense in football just lost its cleanest chain mover on the perimeter, and that tiny shift changed the geometry of September and October? You can feel it in your ribs like Ford Field bass vibrating through your chest, because this isn't a minor note. Rashee Rice is out 6 games, not 1, not 2, 6. And yes, that absence crosses paths with the week the Lions see Kansas City. That's not just news. That's leverage. That's the kind of leverage you only earn if you're ready to use it. Strip away the noise and look at the Chiefs' passing skeleton. Every explosive highlight you remember Mahomes fading left arm angle from a different planet sits on top of boring, efficient, ruthless little wins. 2nd and 8 becomes 3rd and 2. 3rd and 6 shrinks into a quick pivot versus man or a patient sit route against zone. Rashee Rice is the receiver who lives in that space between the sticks. The guy who takes a slant through contact and turns it into a "we're still on schedule" shrug. Remove him and Andy Reid's sequencing has to shift. More tight end traffic, more design touches for backs, more responsibility on wideouts who don't win as clean on schedule. The pass game becomes a beat slower. And a beat slower against a defense that rallies and tackles is a recipe for punts, field goals, frustration, and Mahomes magic, being forced to carry too much of the load. Too early in the year, feel what that means for Aaron Glenn. This is the week the coverage menu gets bold. You can build a plan around 2 anchors, squeeze Travis Kelce at leverage points, and cap the top against whoever inherits the field stretcher role. With Rice sideline, Detroit can spin between bracket Kelce on money downs and match quarters. Shells that dare Kansas City's secondary receivers to beat press, separate late, and finish through contact. That frees the nickel to poach crossers, lets the weak side safety drive on Diggs, and opens the door to green dog pressure when the back stays in. It gives you permission to bring simulated heat from depth-mugged A-gaps that drop creeper pressures that look like 5 but arrive as 4 because the first read isn't loosening you up every series. And yes, you keep a Cuba run plan in your pocket, a spy once a quarter, edges that long arm rush to keep contained, interior loops to close escape lanes. Make Mahomes patient, make him perfect, and then make him do it for 10 plays at a time. There's a psychological dividend too. Kansas City without Rice is still Kansas City, but it's a version that leans harder on Kelce's option routes and running back outlets, that nudges their plays per drive up and their explosives down. When a juggernaut is forced to win by inches instead of yards, discipline becomes a weapon. Detroit can use tempo like a vice. Milk the clock when you want. Hurry to the line when you smell confusion. Change personnel groupings to force substitution chess. Every minute the scoreboard stays tight is another minute KC is forced to be methodical instead of volcanic. That's the game you want. Stubborn, physical, relentless. A fight that lives in the trenches and bleeds into the fourth quarter when Ford Field turns into a THUNDERHEAD. Walk through the details. Coverage stems first. Show single high and spin late to 2. Show 2 high and rotate down with the nickel. Screaming to the flat. Flash cloud over the boundary to bait the quick out. Then jump it with the corner because you know that quick game outlet isn't Rice anymore. Mix in robber looks. Middle field safety buzzing to steal the glance route. On early downs, corner squeeze from outside leverage. Linebacker widening pre-snap to choke the glance window. You don't need 10 new calls. You need 2 shells dressed 5 different ways. The goal is simple. Deny rhythm throws and make Kansas City's non-Rice wideouts finish against tight man with the ball in the air. Contest everything. Hit everything. Make every third down catch feel like a car crash. Now toss in the front mechanics. The fastest way to wreck KC's timing without Rice is to corrupt protection while presenting light boxes that bait runs you're ready to spill. Start with a 4-man surface and build stunts that target their slide rules. TE games into the B gap. Wrap a looper into the A gap after the guard commits. Spike the end inside to set up a scrape from the second level. On passing downs, show 5 at the line and bring 4 from unexpected spots while dropping a defensive end under the slant window. Mahomes hates free runners, every QB does, but he'll carve you if you get greedy. So don't get greedy, be deceptive. Forster. Back to scan wrong. Create half beats of hesitation. When the first read isn't Rice, a half beat becomes a sack or throwaway. And yes, there's a red zone plan. Without Rice's quick separation, KC's condensed space answers lean even harder on Kels and scramble drill chemistry. You can! Playing out brackets on Kels inside the 10. Fence the back of the end zone with a safety and assign a plaster rule to defensive backs when Mahomes breaks contain. The coaching point is insane effort. Once the play goes off script, you chase with your eyes, not your feet. You touch your man every step. You find work and you finish the snap on your toes, not your heels. In the red area, one extra collision is the difference between 6 points and 3-dot flip the ball. If you want to turn Rice's absence into a Lions win, help your defense by stealing their breath. The offense doesn't need to be fireworks. It needs to be a vice grip. Condense splits and tight alignments to invite press, then use motion to unlock leverage and force communication. Hammer duo and counter until the linebackers cheat, then rip the post over or the deep crosser behind their eyes. Stay married to play action. Even if the run is a 2-yard affair early, the threat changes safety depth. This is a game to live. On second and manageable. This is a game to call 2 plays in the huddle and kill with a hand signal when the safety rocks down. This is a game to punish light boxes and force KC to pick their poison. Either help the run and invite shot plays, or sit back and eat clock while your backs turn 4 into 7 and 7 into 12. Protection will decide the tone. Keep edges honest with chips, move the launch point with boots and half rolls, and trust the quick game when KC shows pressure, but not press. Your quarterback doesn't need 40 throws. He needs 28 right throws. Call at the right times, dress with the right motions to diagnose coverage. And when it's there, take the body shots. Hitch routes that force corners to tackle. Swing screens that ask linebackers to run through blocks. Tase stick nods that punish flat-footed zone eyes. Live in those little wins, because each one hides. A bigger punch. Special teams matter more than you think. Pin them. Force long fields. The longer the field, the greater the chance a holding call, a drop, or a tip ball detonates a drive. That's where Rice's absence shows to the naked eye, not just in targets lost, but in the invisible plays where he'd have rescued a series with a tough catch in traffic. Your punt team can write hidden points. Your kickoff unit can set tone with coverage that turns the first snap of a drive into 2nd and 12. Tie the game to field position and watch patience become pressure. There's also the calendar tax. Kansas City's opener is out of routine. The travel is weird, the install is live, and the receiver room is learning on the fly. That's more mental bandwidth spent on logistics and timing, and less on mastering the full Reed Mom's dictionary. Detroit's advantage isn't just that Rice is gone. It's that everything around his absence compounds the strain on KC's early season rhythm. You don't beat the champs by playing hope. You beat them by stacking little edges until the dam cracks. Zoom back out and feel the identity on both sides. The Chiefs will still make plays. They're too good not to. But this is a week where Detroit's do your job becomes do your job +1. Safeties that tackle like linebackers. Corners that finish through the catch point. Linebackers who wall crossers and carry seams long enough for rush to arrive. Ends who rush with vision, not just speed so they don't open escape lanes. Every snap is a vote for the team you say you are. You've been building toward games like this for years. Act like it, you could also tilt the emotional field. Talk all week about respect. Talk all week about process. Then on Sunday, play like the agreed party. Hit legally and hit often. Strip at the end of every tackle. Stand up from piles first. Chase every scramble like it's fourth and goal. When you win a rep, don't pose reset. When you lose a rep, don't sulk reset. Championship teams don't ride waves. They make the water still. Rice's suspension gives you the first drop. Your response decides whether it becomes a tide. There's a narrative trap to avoid. It's easy to say the Lions caught a break. Don't take the cheese. Treat this not like luck, but like mission. The league will frame the Chiefs as short-handed. Let them. Detroit's job is to walk onto that field and own the first quarter. Like a home playoff game, then own the last 5 minutes like a legacy test. The closer the game stays, the more every small KC mistake expands. A false start becomes a punt. A drop becomes a field goal. A coverage bust becomes the one shot you needed to land. That's how under-the-hood advantages become on-the-board wins. If you want a crystal-clear checklist, it's this, even if we never say it out loud in the locker room. On defense, deny first-read rhythm, choke Kels on money downs, hit the check down. Until they stop throwing it, spy with surprise, not habit, and keep the rush lane picture clean. On offense, own second and manageable, merry run and play action, take the body shots early to make the explosives late, protect edges with help and change the launch point, and be cool in the red zone touchdowns, not field goals. On special teams, pin. That's the plan. That's how you turn a 6-game suspension into a 1-game statement. And here's the truth sitting underneath all the hype. This is bigger than one September Sunday. This is about what the Lions are becoming. Teams that want to matter in January. Learn to turn small advantages into big outcomes. They don't wait for miracles. They enforce math. They don't chase highlight reels. They suffocate drives. They don't need the opponent at full strength to validate a win. They just need an opportunity and the nerve to take it. Rashee Rice being out doesn't hand you anything. It hands you a choice. Do you nibble or do you bite? So let's be the team that bites. Let's be the team that takes away the easy button, that makes the champs play left-handed, that drags them into deep water and refuses to blink. Let's be the team that turns noise into silence and silence into a roar so loud the roof shakes. The city is ready. The roster is ready. The window is cracked. Widen it into a doorway. Step through it with bad intentions and don't look back.